Alright folks, so in this video we're going to update the firmware on my Xiegu G90. Maybe it's Xiegu G90, not 100% sure. Anyhow, my radio is configured with firmware version 1.73. We're going to upgrade to 1.74. One of the things I want to note is that version 1.74 is actually on its 4th iteration. And I believe there's a 5th that will be released soon. And that might be branded 1.75. One of the things about Xiegu is that they are very responsive to end user feedback and are making adjustments I would consider quite rapidly. Anyhow, if that sounds like something you want to watch, why don't you do yourself a favor, go get yourself a nice cold one, come on back and we'll get started. Oh yeah, and if you like this video, go ahead and click the thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment below. It helps make the video more discoverable so other people like you can find the content. Also, we created a Patreon account, so you now have the option or opportunity to support the channel that way. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully everybody made it back. Now we're going to start this off by going to Radio Oddity's website. And once we're here, you want to click on the support in the menu bar at the top part of the website. Once you click on support, pick others and then scroll down to Xiegu. Here you'll see various firmware updates for the G90. 1.74's latest version is build number 4. Actually, I heard a beta of build number 5 is out, but that's for another video. Anyhow, download this zip file and extract it. I'm going to download it to my desktop. Then I right click and I pick extract. And once I've done that, I get a new folder on my desktop that has all the contents of this zip file. I'm going to go ahead and open it up now. You can see that there's drivers in here. I believe these are the drivers for the cable. I didn't use these. I let my computer install the drivers themselves. And there's also an empty text file. Not sure what value that is. Let's go back to the root of this file system. Here you can see the firmware updates. Notice it's 2 files, one for the display unit and one for the body of the G90. You have to update both of them. There's also a tool called Term, and that's a terminal emulation program that you run right from this location. We're going to use that to copy those files over to the display and to the body of the G90. There's also some instructions, and I urge you to go through these instructions and familiarize yourself with some of the terminologies. Now there's a couple things to note. Sometimes it's called the head, the nose, or the display. And then the body is sometimes called the base, the body. So it's a little confusion. It would be nice if they could use consistent language. Also, some of the screenshots have Chinese characters in them. I'm not sure what it says, but I think it says subscribe to the TheSmokinApe channel. Also, you'll need to know where your power goes in, and you'll need to know where you plug in your cable. You plug it in the display unit here, and then you plug it into the back of the body or the base here where it says COM. We're going to be using the cable that's shipped with the G90. Also, there's instructions on how to configure your terminal program, Term. There's also some release notes that address all the things that have been updated in build 004. And if you scroll down, you can see a description of what was the focus of this particular build. I'm not going to go through all this because it's a pretty lengthy list. Here you can see it says firmwares of the host and nose must be updated at the same time. Again, it just goes back to the consistency of language, and that's something that really bothers me. And then the last thing is a document that talks about setting up data communication connections. And this is with the CE19 adapter. It just really shows you the best practice for using that adapter and how to set up your rig for cat control and audio in and out. That's beyond the scope of this video. Going through the menu, you can see that my G90 has version 1.73 installed. A long press of the function key will get you to this menu. Next, I plug the USB cable into my computer, and in the lower right hand corner you can see that it's setting up a device. I'm going to go ahead and let this run. I'm also going to open up Device Manager, and I'll be able to see the device in Device Manager under Ports, COM, and LPT. On my computer it's COM3. It may be different on yours. Once this is done, I'm going to open up the Term application from the zip file. It says it can't open COM5, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and go File, New Connection, and then from the port I'm going to pick COM3. Make sure Serial is clicked. Then I'm going to go ahead and select OK. Next I'm going to go to Setup, and I'm going to go down to Serial. I'm going to make sure the COM port is set to 3, and my baud rate is 115200. Then I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to power up the G90, and when I do, I want to quickly hit the space key to load me into the bootloader. Once this happens, I pick 1 for Update Firmware. And what it does here is it erases the configuration from the display unit. We do the display unit first. Then I'm going to go to Transfer, X Modem, Send. And I'm going to browse to the display unit head firmware update file. Once this is done, I'm going to click Open. And it's going to go ahead and it's going to write that to my G90 radio. Now I'm going to power off my radio and I'm going to disconnect my session. At this point, I'm going to take the cable, the tip ring sleeve end, the 3.5mm jack. I'm going to unplug that from the display, and then I'm going to plug it into the base or the body of the Xiegu G90. Once done, I'm going to go to File, and then I'm going to go to New Connection, and I'm going to go through the same process as before. I'm going to make sure I have the right COM port, check Serial. I'm going to power on the G90, and then I'm going to quickly press the space bar to interrupt the boot sequence. I'm going to pick 1 for Update Firmware, and it begins erasing the previous installation on the base or the body of the G90. Once this is done, we're going to transfer a file the same way. And at this point, the face or the display of the G90 says it's lost connection. That means it's lost connection to the base. Now we're going to select Transfer, X Modem, Send. Make sure that your 1K option is checked, and then select the firmware file that you need for the base unit. Once this is done, click Open, and the transfer process will begin. Once this is done, it tells me to reboot my rig. So I'm going to power off the G90. And then once it's powered off, you disconnect the power cable. And you do this for about a minute. I'm not exactly sure why you need to do this, but you need to do this in order for your G90 to cleanly start up afterwards. So let's do that now. Now with the radio powered up, I do a long press of the function button. And then I can scroll through my menu options. I can also go backwards, which makes this a little bit easier. It says it's getting base version, please wait. And then here you can see we are at version 1.74. There's different dates for the app and the base, and I'm not sure why that is. And with that, folks, this video is wrapped up. I want to thank everybody for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or recommendations, go ahead and post them below and I'll do my best to respond. Thanks again.